You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
I don't know how to play taps with my mouth, but that's what I feel like right now. That was freaking ugly. And I don't know if they can recover from that. I really don't. If you were in this game and you battled and you lose a tight one, different mentality. Tonight, they got embarrassed, beat up, pushed around, humiliated, just ugly. Everywhere you look, ugly. Nothing good tonight. I think the only thing that was good tonight was that Flaherty was okay. And that's even maybe an exaggeration. Welcome to the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out. When every game is done, you can also listen wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. That's where you find Jeff and Vince, who'll be breaking this one down here probably in just a little bit, and it'll be ready for you to check out, get their 2 cents on this disaster. It's brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah, the right state can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rival city. Book today at Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. Well, we got one thing that I said we needed, and that was 5 innings from Jack Flaherty. He went 5. Okay. Gave up a home run in the first to Tatis. That wasn't great, but it was okay. It was just a solo shot. Then a couple more in the second inning, so they're down 3-0, just like last night. A little bit of a rally in the second. Bases loaded, 1 out. I'm sorry, no outs. Bases loaded, no outs in the second. And I don't want to say they wet the bed at that point because Tommy Edman scorched that ball to a rise at first base. But, you know, there's a rise, double play, rally over, wet blanket, you know, fire extinguisher, flame out. So they were hitting the ball. You really have to look at this game and say, Yu Darvish was awesome. Yu Darvish made them look foolish. All of them. Right? Find somebody who had a good game at the plate. Teo had a hit. Muncy was okay. Yeah. That's it. Leadoff single for Teo in the second. Max Muncy a single. And then Edman lined into the double play. Game over. So I look at this and I say, I really hope the Dodgers can get off the mat. This, you know, I said it last night. Big win. They needed to win that game last night. But they won that game in 2022 as well, and then got smoked by the Padres in 3 straight. I feel like that's what's on the table. I'm sorry. I hate to be a negative naysayer, but that's what's on the table right now. Ugly, bad loss. Yes. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, always behind in the first inning. I feel like they're kind of comfortable there, but that's not how you play postseason baseball. You got to figure out a way to get on base. Sorry. Shohei Ohtani, not inevitable tonight. Struck out at least twice, if not 3 times. Struck out swinging, grounded out weakly to first, grounded out to the pitcher even weaker, struck out in the 8th. So, ugly. Mookie Betts. Yeah, I mean, he got robbed of a home run there. That was a fantastic play by Jurickson Profar. Didn't appreciate his flossing afterwards. That was a little childish, and I understand the Dodger fans in left field getting on him because that was just like, come on, dude. Really? I know you're excited and all, but you're like rubbing it in their face from like 2 feet away. If I'm that one dude there that didn't knock the ball away, like, come on, dude, what are you doing? Where's Bartman when you need him? How about some interference? Where's Jeffrey Meyer when you need him? Interfere with that ball. Knock it out of his glove. Don't point at him and go, You got us. I mean, come on, flip him off or something. Have some passion. Oh. So that was ugly. Yeah, it was all around ugly. 8-1 now. Higashioka just hit a home run. Dodgers gave up too many home runs. This is what we expected from the bullpen. That if we saw the bullpen too much, that they were going to get to them. Joe Davis brought up the stat. If a team sees a bullpen member 3 times in a series, meaning 3 at-bats, their average goes up to like 295 with an OPS over 800, which Joe Davis described as all-star caliber. Bonda, 1 inning, 1 hit, rest zeros. Hudson, although Bonda did give up a run, charged to Flaherty. Right after he struck out Machado, got yanked for a lefty-lefty thing. And that didn't work out. Oh, but that's what the stats say. So, not a fan of that. Never will be. Daniel Hudson, 2/3 of an inning, zeros. So good outing from him. Brazier, not so hot because he played yesterday and he faced the same guys as he did yesterday. Why do we know this information and no one else does? 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 home run. Michael Grove, 1/3 of an inning, home run, 1 run, 1 hit. Enriquez, 2 home runs, just gave up a second one, or Henriquez. So it's getting uglier. Maybe the Padres will get tired. Maybe they'll get just swung out. They'll be like, oh, I can't hit home runs anymore. I'm so exhausted from hitting all these home runs. Higashioka, Tatis. What a day for Tatis. If Tatis and Machado weren't such a-holes, you could root for them, but they're just giant freaking a-holes. Both of them. I mean, they are carbon copies of each other in the cocky jerk store department. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this team with that attitude, and that's why they're so easy to hate. Up and down the board. Like, you don't hate Jackson Merrill. He's 21, I think, maybe 20. I don't know. He's very young. 3 years ago, he was in high school, whatever that means for your age. 2021, unless he could have been red-shirted, so he's a little bit older. Seems like a pretty down-to-earth dude. He's out there playing. I know he's young, so he's just doing his job head down. I don't want to make a scene. Profar, complete jerk. I mean, we've run into him before, right? He's, Bogarts, seems like an okay guy. Cronenworth kind of keeps to himself. Peralta hit that home run fairly calm. Higashioka seems like a down-to-earth guy. Donovan Solano, top of that lineup. I mean, the arrogance and cocky. I mean, we all despise all of those dudes. Maybe Arise not so much, but Tatis for sure. Profar, Machado. I mean, it's just, you want to beat them so badly because those guys are such jerks. And I get Flaherty telling him to sit the F down, right? And yeah, I mean, how about Dave Roberts, like, opening his eyes and, again, managing the game from the moment, from what happened on the field. Huge strikeout for Jack Flaherty, strikes out Machado, tells him to F off, and then gets yanked out of the game for Anthony Bonda, who gives up a base hit to score a run. I mean, that is not the right place to pull Flaherty out of the game. I know it was only 1 at that point. Merrill with the single there, scoring Tatis. But it would have felt a lot better 3-1 than 4-1, knowing that the Dodgers weren't going to score because Yu Darvish was dealing. And all I can think about, who's with me on this? I can only think about one thing when Yu Darvish pitches. And I'll tell you what that is after the break. Who's with me? I'm sure you know what I'm going to say, but if you don't, I will tell you after the break. Craig says they haven't won anything yet. I know, but I feel like we've seen this movie before. Good news, if you want a tiny bit of good news, I feel like Walker Buehler is ticked off and has been for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I feel like Walker Buehler might surprise us on Tuesday. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Not over yet, but it's over. 10-1 in the ninth. 6 home runs for the Padres. They absolutely kicked the Dodgers where the sun don't shine. I'm Pete Fox. You can also listen wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by Arena Club. For most of us that like collecting things, especially cards, the idea of spending $2,000 or more just isn't in the cards. I like collecting autographs and stuff, but that's some serious money to drop on cards. Thanks to slab packs from arenaclub.com, now it's possible to score gem mints for a fraction of their retail price. Every card that I listed was hit from last week's Arena Club slab pack. Arena Club is the only repack that provides a real value, a complete view of all possible cards, and clear hit rates for each one. Arena slab packs are revolutionizing the repack game with transparency. After your pulls are revealed, they'll immediately be placed in your showroom for safekeeping, selling, trading, or auction. The Arena Club grading process is accurate, fast, and transparent with a full grade rationale provided and an explanation of how your card was scored. Right now, you can get 10% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/lockedonmlb and use the code LockedOnMLB. That's arenaclub.com/lockedonmlb, code LockedOnMLB for 10% off your first purchase. All right, the series is even at 1 now after the Padres put it on the Dodgers. The only thing I think about when I see Yu Darvish pitch every single time is why couldn't he pitch like this in Game 7 of the World Series against the Astros in 2017? Why? I know he was injured. Then why are you on the mound? And I laugh every time because my mom, who's now 97 and still a big baseball fan, but going to bed so early these days that she didn't even get to watch the game. But back in 2017, she would watch every inning of every game, says to me, before that game, I don't like them starting Darvish. 90 years old back then. I don't like this move. It's not going to work out well for the Dodgers. Sure enough, she was right. But Yu Darvish, ever since then, it's been great. Throws, 39 different pitches? Every pitch he throws does something different. I mean, I don't know why he threw any fastballs tonight because they were on that, right? I feel like the ball that Mookie hit that should have been a home run was a fastball. The Tommy Edman line drive was a fastball. Who got robbed by Tatis in right field? Somebody else. Somebody got, Freddie before he left the game. I also don't love that. Freddie's probably done for the series now. Jesus wants to know what the hell happened in this game. I've been listening, but I wasn't able to see all the something desmadre. Is that disaster? Is that what you're trying to say there? What the hell happened, Jesus? Well, Yu Darvish happened. Yu Darvish shut the Dodgers down. They could not do anything off of him. 7 innings, 1 run on just 3 hits. But he only struck out 3, which is kind of surprising. Look, I mean, you could sum this game up another way pretty easily. The Dodgers had a bunch of bad luck. That Mookie Betts home run is a home run. Game tied at 1. Different ball game. Different game. If Darvish doesn't get, fantastic, stellar defense from all of those guys, Arise at first base with the double play, made another fantastic play after that. Tatis in right field taking a double away from Freddie. It's a different ballgame, but that's baseball. That is baseball. I just, I look and I say, Padres have the momentum now, and they're going to, if I was in the clubhouse, right now, I would have to figure out a way to ask the question about momentum. Baseball players, athletes in general, they don't like that. They don't want to talk about momentum. Now the Padres would, but when you lose, the loser never wants to talk about momentum. They always deny that it even exists, which I think is ridiculous. Athletes and coaches, managers, etc., want to say this. This is their kind of company line on momentum. I believe momentum exists within a game, but not from game to game. I'm like, what? Really? Look, having a day off helps for sure. Dodgers can regroup, get a little bit of rest. I don't know. This is what I'm afraid of. You go down to San Diego, obviously, Padre fans are champing at the bit down there. They have never been this geeked up about anything. Anything. I mean, the Chargers were in the Super Bowl. They weren't this geeked up. Even when the Padres were good in 98 and they went to the 99, went to the World Series, lost to the Yankees, they weren't this geeked up. I lived there down then. I lived down there then. They weren't this geeked up. This is the most geeked up they have ever been. And it kind of surrounds, it's a momentum thing. I'm sorry. There's no other way to put it. It is momentum that you can't help but feel. How do the players not feel it? They have to. Don't give me this crap. There's no momentum. The Padres have had momentum since the All-Star break. Yes, the Dodgers rained on it a little bit. They threw a blanket over it. 3 in a row up until tonight against the Padres. So look, I know the Dodgers can do it, but I've been worried. I've been worried for months. This doesn't make me feel any better. I'm sorry. Give me something that makes me feel good, that you're like, give me a turn the page speech right now. Somebody, anybody, just turn the page. Hey, it's, you could say this. Here's a logic that a lot of times is real. And I'm surprised no one said it. I'm surprised I didn't think of it till now. When you get your A kicked like this, when you get your hat handed to you, it's a whole lot easier to turn the page. The Dodgers have probably turned the page on this game about 2 hours ago. When was this game over? Officially. 8th inning. Merrill's home run. That made it 6-1. So maybe not 2 hours ago, maybe an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, they turned the page. They're like, yeah, we're good. On to Tuesday. Day off tomorrow, get a little rest, feet up, massage, ice bath, steam, all that stuff. Relax, decompress. Look, this is their job. Far less emotional about it than we are. We know that. We get it. But when you got Ohtani and you got Betts, Freddie, Ofer, Ofer is probably more surprising after yesterday. I expected at least a hit. I put him in my PrizePicks tonight for I put it in as a single, and they had it as a red demon, which pays a little more. I'm like, does that mean it's just has to be a single? I didn't quite understand it, but I thought, well, Shohei's going to get at least a single. Ofer, 2 strikeouts, bad, ugly strikeouts, mistimed, no clue. It's like he was, afraid of Darvish. Like the Darvish legacy as 2 Japanese guys was weighing on Shohei, right? He knew what was going to happen. He was aware. And Mookie's 0 for the postseason. Like, not just this postseason, last postseason before that. What's the number? 0 for 22 now? I wrote down 0 for 21. I think he went 2 more overs since that. I wrote down 0 for 21. So he's at least 0 for 22 in the postseason. I know that ball he hit should have been a home run. And I know last night he, was in clutch positions. The Padres didn't evidently have too much concern, or they had concern rather, that Mookie was capable of getting hits. They walked him 3 times. 2 times intentionally. So they were a little worried about him. Maybe they missed that stat. Some dude who's over 19 at that point, I guess. I'm not too terribly worried about. I don't care if he's an MVP. So Mookie's got to get going. This is ridiculous. It's not acceptable. Freddie got robbed too, hit the ball hard. Both of those guys robbed. Shohei did not hit the ball hard. And I'm sorry to say it, not acceptable. Not good enough. Oh, hey, it's 10-2 with 2 outs. Who just hit a home run? Muncy homered. I told you Muncy was going to come back around. I told you. 2 hits for Muncy tonight. That's the bright spot. And Muncy didn't go 0 for after going 0 for last night. 2 for 4 with a home run. 2 out rally. Hey, the Dodgers are good with 2 outs. They can rally right now. Anyway, I was going to tell you a quick story about my friend who's a Dodger fan. I'll do that after the break. It's the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. It's 10-2 Dodgers. No, I wish. 10-2 Padres. Fathers leading this one. They're going to even the series at a game apiece. It's 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. You can watch us on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel or listen on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed, wherever you find your podcasts. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Explore those U.S. cities you've always secretly wanted to, but maybe for some reason, one reason or another, you didn't really feel the urge or the need. And that reason is your rival is in that city. I love San Diego, but right now, I'm a little just indifferent. I don't know that I would want to be down there right now, because I might get into a fight with somebody. The a-holeness of the Padres is bleeding into their fans. But if you're, braver and stronger than me, San Diego's a hell of a town. If you're going to get down there on Tuesday or Wednesday and witness one of those games with hotels or beds and breakfast, the way you pluralize bed and breakfast is beds and breakfast. It's not bed and breakfasts, by the way. Vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival's city, even during the postseason. Booking.com delivers exactly the right U.S. stay for you. Booking.com can help you book a stay that's close to your home team or your rival's team's stadium. No matter what team you are rooting for this postseason, Booking.com can make you a fan of any U.S. city. From hotels that overlook stadiums to family-friendly resorts to cute beds and breakfasts, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rival city. Booking.com, Booking.yeah. Tonight's episode also brought to you by FanDuel. Although I don't have the FanDuel. Give me 1 second here. FanDuel. You guys, FanDuel. Everyone's a fan of FanDuel, except for us here in California who don't have access to FanDuel. I really wish we did. That's why I use PrizePicks. I don't have access to FanDuel. NFL fans, you could start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. So anyway, we all have cities, rival city, as we were talking about there with Booking.com, that the fans are, it's a final now, by the way, 10-2 Padres, even the series. The fans are just flat out jerky about their teams. Surprisingly, New York is not really one of those. I mean, maybe it's because they're just so overly confident. They don't really, they support the Yankees. They support the Mets. They're big time hardcore fans, but they're not jerky about it, right? Lots of cities are confident, love their teams. Philadelphia kind of, I don't know. I'm on the fence about Philadelphia. I go back and forth. Obviously, the Dodgers have run into the Phillies in the postseason a few times, and we've heard stories about the Philly fans showing up outside the Dodgers hotel and just cursing at them for the entire time that they're getting off the bus, walking into the hotel, right? We've heard awful stories about Philly fans. We've seen things happen in Philadelphia after games that are just flat out deplorable and disgusting. But I've been to Philadelphia, sat in a sports bar 2 or 3 days before the Super Bowl, and the Philadelphia Eagles were in that Super Bowl. Talked to a few fans that were super nice, friendly, down-to-earth fans. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. I feel like it's like a few bad fans give the entire fan base a bad name. Boston, we can pretty much say that even though we might love Boston, Boston fans are a-holes. Well, guess what, San Diego? You are in that category. You are not far behind Boston with being a-holes, yelling, pounding your chest. And I get it. You don't have any hardware in your city at all. So I understand that you're the underdog, you're the upstart, and you're just dying to have something to get fired up about. Your team left and went to LA because you guys didn't want to pay for a new stadium. You wanted them to play in Qualcomm, which was in a state of disrepair that was literally dangerous. And you guys were like, that's fine. It's cool. You know, just put some spackle on that concrete. It's fine. So your football team left and you're all ticked off at them for leaving, right? Oh, we don't want to pay for it. You mentioned the word tax to somebody in San Diego and they're like, nope, I'm out. Okay, so the team left and you guys should all be happy about it. But no, you're not, for the most part. You're all still pretty upset with the Spanos family. And look, I'm no fan of the Spanos family by any stretch. But I don't understand why everyone's so upset at the Chargers for leaving. You didn't want to buy him a new stadium. You didn't want to have anything to do with funding a new stadium. Your only thought process was, hey, that guy's a billionaire. He should be able to fund his own stadium. And when that wasn't the case, and they were like, sorry, we're not as rich as other owners. We have to leave. F you, screw you, we hate you, blah, blah, blah. So you're still ticked off about that. You will be forever. I get it. Actually, I don't get it, but you know, I empathize to a certain extent. And now you have the Padres and that's it. So you're just like head over heels in love with them because you have no other options. That's it. Unless you're into the San Diego Seals, which is lacrosse, by the way. They're just rabid. And to a certain extent, you kind of have to, go, that's pretty cool, but you don't have to be jerks. My friend who I think, he lives down there now, Dodger fan since he was a little kid, grew up in Palm Springs like I did, was wearing a Dodger hat. He said he got out of his car and 3 people told him to F off just walking down the street. Don't try to tell me that's just good rivalry, camaraderie, busting balls. No, that's jerk store. So, yes, I hate the freaking Padres. This is a real rivalry to a certain extent, unless you want to throw in that angle of hardware. Clippers, Lakers, anytime they start talking about rivalries, whether it's the players, the fans, doesn't matter who you ask when it comes to Clippers, Lakers, is that a real rivalry? Everyone says no. And they always come back to, well, the Lakers have all these championships, 17, and the Clippers have zero, nada. As far as that goes for the Dodgers versus the Padres, I know the Padres are a much younger organization. Dodgers have been around for 100 years. So obviously it makes more sense the Dodgers have more hardware. But as far as just the rivalries to me are built on hatred. I don't like it when these guys are all high-fiving the opposition. I'm okay with being upset with the other team. I'm okay with not liking the other team. But these guys, Profar, Tatis, Machado, they're just jerks. They're jerks. They're a-holes. I have a friend in the media. He's in the clubhouse right now. Told me a story after game 3 of the regular season finale against the Padres. He was at Dodger Stadium. He's like, I was with the Dodgers for a little bit, but then I ran over to get some Padres sound. Came over, stuck my microphone in front of Machado, asked a question about a tough inning that they had. That was the game they lost. Dodgers, remember, won the last 2 of the regular season and then yesterday. So they were on a 3-game winning streak against San Diego. Asked him a question about the tough inning where the Padres fell apart and the Dodgers grabbed the lead, etc. And Machado's response was so juvenile and so immature his response was something to the effect of, what are you, a Dodger reporter? What are you, a Dodger fan? Go over there and celebrate with them. And then after my friend just kind of went, oh, okay, walked away, the Padre reporter comes up to him and says, don't worry about Machado. He's just an a-hole. He's just a jerk. He does that to everybody. So I'm not the only one that thinks that he's a jerk. It is all over the place. But right now, those jerks have a 1-1 series against the Dodgers, which means it's a best of 3 with 2 games in San Diego. Dodgers, if they have to, I don't use the must win thing very often. They have to win on Tuesday. It is a must win situation for them. If they cannot win that game on Tuesday, in my opinion, they will not be able to get off the mat on Wednesday, because Wednesday is Landon Knack and bullpen and blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be pretty. Maybe Yamamoto could start because he only threw 3 innings. Your boy is spreading lies about Machado. Okay. Johnny Mays. Yeah. Not true, Johnny. That is a 100% true story. Anyway, Dodgers got to win. Got to win game 3, because you can't get off the mat with Landon Knack and bullpen day and all of that unless they decide to throw Yamamoto out there because he only threw 3 innings in the opener. I don't know. What would that be? So the opener was yesterday. So that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That would be Wednesday. That would be 3 days rest. Ain't going to happen. So got to win Tuesday. That is my take. 10-2 the final. 6 home runs for the Padres. Dodgers, not good. Nothing to report positive except for Max Muncy with 2 hits and a homer. Everything else should go into the dumpster. This game should be burned from their memory banks. Turn the page, try to forget about it, move on. As I said, I feel like getting embarrassed is a little bit of a motivator versus a tight game that you can't really shake off. This one's easy to shake off. Move on. Flaherty takes the loss. Yeah, that's all. 0 for Ohtani, 0 for Betts. Freeman 0 for, probably won't see him again. 6 home runs to 1. 10-2 the final series, even at 1. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for allowing me to vent. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for watching and listening. I'm Pete Fox, the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. You can download us wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. And don't forget to check out Jeff and Vince either later tonight or first thing in the morning with their reaction to this disaster. Have a good night. We'll be back at it on Tuesday, and we'll be here right after the game to break it down. Hopefully a win. Fingers crossed. Positive thoughts. Take care. Later.